in 2025, Angela went to the Yukon, and the paintings that came out of there, you can see a departure in her work, something that informed the rest of her work for the rest of her life. So this is my hometown here in Dawson Creek, and we are headed out on a road trip from Dawson Creek, the mile zero of the Alaska Highway, to hopefully all the way to Dawson City and maybe even into Alaska. I've always wanted to visit Dawson City. I felt like we had a little bit of a kinship in even just getting our two towns confused, and being born and raised here, it just felt like it would be just a completion of the journey to be able to go all the way up to the north into the Yukon to Dawson City. And this is Summit Lake on the way to Alaska. Feels like mountains. A moose over here. See if I can get a little bit closer. Forecast said it was going to rain at, well, in an hour and a half, but I think we're going to be all right. This feels so phony because we're sweaty and we're hot and we're regretting starting and not being better prepared, because we're never as prepared as we want to be, but we're prepared enough. We're going to get there. Finally at our destination. Looks pretty. In action. I just think the vegetation here is so cool. The humidity from this hot spring, microclimate, etc. Whirlpool Canyon. Okay. We're in the very small town of Atlin today and tomorrow. Well, not tomorrow, yesterday and today. It's pretty small. And that's one thing we're learning about all of these different places in BC and the Yukon is you don't know small until you come to these northern towns. They don't have a lot of amenities. Grocery stores and restaurants close early. If you can find one, things are pretty ramshackle. It's pretty interesting. Blacksmith, is that a museum? This is the one that's has a gallery, the Courthouse Gallery. So that might be something to check out. Does not look open. Don't know what that is. Another private home. It's cute. They have to tell you because it's too cute. They want, and that's the grocery store right there. The red building. We should stop there later and get some cream. It is summer here, so it should be the height of the tourist season, but as you can see, there's just not a lot going on. And I'm not sad about it. Definitely, it was a little moment of panic yesterday when we came into town and realized we had 3 minutes before the only other open grocery store closed. And I paid a lot of money for those eggs and bacon for breakfast. Panic buying. 3 minutes to decide what we were going to eat. That's the cafe I was telling you about, this square building here, Kershaw's. Thought maybe you'd like to see our very rustic Airbnb for tonight. South Pine Cottage in Atlin. Wade says it's the most homemade place he's ever been. If your kitchen, a little gas stove that was out of gas this morning. We had to swap bottles. Wood stove, which fortunately we haven't needed. It's raining right now, so you can't see the mountains, but they're visible through the trees there. A couple extra beds. Water tanks in here. Water heater. Little bathroom. And then there's the addition with the bed. And the nice view. Again, and the owner of the property lives over here, and then just a little cubby there. We do have a TV and a little couch, this set of videos to watch, but yeah, it's just kind of little, tiny, cozy, and very, very homemade. One of the reasons I came here is because there's a pastel artist that I follow who used to live here, and so she does these beautiful paintings of this mountain and Atlin Lake, and just it's always about the quality of the light. And I think, I mean, we're standing here in the rain right now, but I think that's what you would really spend your time noticing, is how much the light shifts and changes from sunlight to shadow, cloud, rain, all the seasons. and the times of day reflected off this mountain and the water and framed by the sky. This is Miles Canyon. Wade's always looking at how things are built. I'm always looking at how cold the water might be to jump into. Love the columns on the cliff's edge, hey? It's pretty cool. We just stopped here for a little walk and a little paint. It takes a long time to get into the groove and to kind of feel your way into a painting. And I feel like finally with that little sketch, I'm starting to, I don't know, get a feel for painting this landscape, or at least finding some freedom to experiment within it. Anything that's new, and you know, it's not that new. I live not that far away. I just some 1,500 kilometers, but it is still, you know, a new place, finding a new way of articulating the landscape, finding a new way of understanding it, and then just feeling comfortable enough to dive in and paint it. It's all a challenge, and it takes time and persistence. I'm learning to be willing to do the work and push past the doubt. And I just have to ignore that and just keep going. Actually on the train, riding the train down to Skagway from Fraser, I sat in my seat and I painted, just looking right out the window, which was really fun. Really like the addition of this pink. It's Coral Reef from Daniel Smith. About an hour from Dawson City, and we just stopped for a break. This stretch of the highway has been pretty uneventful. Lots of construction and basically very few places to stop, and so we haven't had lunch. We've just been snacking on stuff in the vehicle. This is called Gravel Lake. I don't know where the swan went. There's like a purple sheen on the mountain straight ahead, and we think that must be fireweed. It's really kind of vibrant considering how far away it is. Great for you. Well, we've made it to Dawson City, and apart from the main street, every other street is gravel. The buildings are so cute. It's a very gold rushy, boxy feel. We're staying in that red building over there somewhere. We got the right of way here. Penguin Club. Klondike Motors. Off to the left is where the river is, and there's a ferry there. I think we have to take it in order to leave here. We'll figure that out later. Robert Service poem. Gold Workshop. Oh, that's the person who's a jewelry designer. I saw an ad for it. When we drove into town, one thing I was really surprised by is that there's these tailings piles everywhere. All of these heaped up gravel, and then the pools of water where the miners would have mined. I don't know how long ago, but it was just kind of funny to see. It hadn't been cleaned up at all. And this is the river. And then Old Dawson City is that way. We're going to take a trail and find it. So that's where we were just looking. We've come out onto Crocus Bluff. And it's going to look this way. Oh, that's really pretty. And town is there, which we're actually not seeing very well. Yeah, I still can't see very much of it. I guess it kind of curves around that way. Yeah, I think I like it. Let's take a look. This is the top of the world highway just outside of Dawson City, just across the river. Moving on to Alaska. It's the top of the world highway on this side. We're also looking out over a valley. Yeah, you're in the way. It doesn't do it justice. Look at that porcupine. He's huge. Oh, sun in my eyes. So Wade and I are driving the top of the world highway from Dawson City to Alaska right now, and it is absolutely mind-blowingly beautiful. It is just, I don't know if you can see the depth of the valley, the absolute beauty and magnitude of the scope here is just crazy. And we've been driving this for a while already, and just on both sides of the road we're seeing deep valleys, mountains, and just spectacular views. We're so excited about this view. This is the kind of thing we love and we live for, is this kind of scenery when we're on a road trip. And then this road is very quiet, you know, it is gravel. And we just realized that the reason we hadn't seen any traffic up until now was also because somewhere down there is the border, and the border patrol or the customs doesn't open till 9 a.m. and so it's about an hour after 9, and so people are just starting to pass us on the road. Just a few handful of vehicles. It's not a highly trafficked road, but it is so worth the drive. I would drive this every year if I could. It's absolutely gorgeous. our view from our hotel tonight in Haines Junction. I think it's really the best hotel view we've had since we set out on this trip. So of course I had to stop and paint. Sun's casting a lot of shadows. The light just keeps changing. It's incredibly beautiful and you can't capture it at all, but you just get to look a little longer when you paint and enjoy it. Oh, look at him. No hurry at all. This is what I'm painting today. Here on the dock. It's getting set up right now. The train decided to depart, so that's cool. One of my favorite things to do is just really trust the process. Remember that it's not all about my good observation. Good observation will get you a long way, but it won't bring life into your painting. Life comes from something else. There's the spark. So how do you awaken a spark in your work? Train has a stripe there. This boat has red in it. I'm just so thankful to be here right now. This is just such a pleasant place and time, and it's so still. Even with cars going past on the road behind me, I'm just enjoying the kind of stillness. There goes the train. Okay. Off to the next stop. Okay, I feel like I've taken this as far as I feel like I want to take it. In fact, I feel like I could have stopped early and had kind of an unfinished simplicity about it, and that would have been nice too. But this has given me the chance to develop the subject and think about it, and in a more just, I don't know, and just be here in this beautiful spot. I like that. How it started, how it finished. One thing that happened as I was painting this is I got to thinking about what if art historians would one day be looking at my art and saying, Angela, in 2025, Angela went to the Yukon, and the paintings that came out of there, you can see a departure in her work, something that informed the rest of her work for the rest of her life. And if that was what artists would say about me in the future, how would that affect how I painted today? And I don't know about that. About whether that's actually something that's going to happen, but I get to paint as though that were the case, and that means a freedom and an experimentation and just a suspension of judgment, which I really work to accomplish in this particular version. And you can just see the difference, the lack of restraint in this painting, and I'm excited about that. This is Tagish Lake near Carcross in Yukon, and this was just a roadside pullout and maybe a quick 20-minute sketch. So how do I paint water? People always like to ask, and it always depends on the water itself. Water is going to reflect, and sometimes water is transparent. It just depends on the lighting. So in this case, and in any case, what I always think is a good idea is to just narrow in, zoom in on what you're looking at, your water, and maybe even test yourself by zooming in a long way and making it into some kind of abstract supposition. So here I'm really zoomed in. You could do that with your reference photo and just take a look at what you're actually seeing without the name of water attached to it. In this case, we've got very still water here in northern British Columbia. And so we can see a lot of reflection of not just the sky, but the land as well. And if the wind were to pick up, that's going to change the way the water appears. It's going to break those reflections. So we look for a way to see beyond what we tell ourselves we see and actually really isolate the colors and shapes that are reflected. And anything that's reflective is going to be a similar proposition of just learning how to abstract it so you can actually see what's there. What makes my heart go boom are the art that lets me be me, without judgment and with freedom. And to say it doesn't make any sense, but I love it anyhow. And I'm just going to keep coming back to that. It's a stupid little scrubby mark over here, but I love it anyhow. And I get to be loved with all my little stupidities too. And that's really the lesson I get to come home with.